Okay, so have you seen this video about Google's Gemini 2.0?
Yeah, it's pretty wild stuff.
Wild's one word for it. They're calling it the AI for the agentic era. Which sounds, well, pretty dramatic, right?
Sure, it's got everyone talking.
So we're going to unpack it in this deep dive.
Definitely break it down.
Yeah, what all the excitement is about.
Yeah. Why
people are saying it's like a real-life Jarvis from Iron Man.
Like, finally, AI is catching up to the movies.
Right. So we've got this YouTube video breaking down the announcement, some of the early demos. It's honestly a lot to process.
It is. There are so many moving parts with this one.
So we're here to help you understand. Like, really understand.
Yeah, cut through the hype.
Yeah, exactly what Gemini 2.0 is, how it works, and why it has the potential to, maybe change everything.
It really might. It's interesting. We've all kind of gotten used to AI doing things like, answering questions, writing different creative text formats.
Yeah, like poems, scripts, even code.
Right, but what we're seeing with Gemini 2.0 is a pretty big shift, I think. This idea of agentic AI.
That's the buzzword, right?
It is. It means that instead of just passively responding to prompts, AI is starting to, take action, interacting with the world around us in a way more dynamic way.
It's not just stuck in the computer anymore.
Exactly.
So the video really drives that point home. Gemini isn't just another language model. It's, like they keep saying, built for action.
Right.
It can see, hear, plan, even remember things.
That's the part that blows my mind a little.
Yeah, so how is that even possible?
Well, unlike earlier AI, which was largely limited to, just text.
Right.
Gemini 2.0 is what they call multimodal.
Okay, so multimodal, what does that actually mean?
It means it can process information from all sorts of sources, like text, obviously, but also images, videos, audio, and then use all that to understand and interact with the world.
So, instead of just reading, it's like it can watch and listen to.
More than that, even. Think about it, right? You use multiple senses to understand the world around you. You see, you hear, you touch, smell, right?
Oh.
Smell. Gemini 2.0 is designed to be more like that. It processes info from multiple, you could say, senses.
Like a digital human almost.
Yeah, well, in a way. And this gives it a much, much richer understanding of what's going on.
Wow, okay, so the video had some seriously cool demos.
Oh, yeah.
Really showing this in action.
Yeah.
Like Project Astra.
Which they called your AI sidekick.
Yeah, so in their demo, Astra is helping someone navigate around London. And it's not just giving directions, it's remembering their door codes, helping them figure out laundry symbols.
Even navigated the London Underground.
Yeah, and identifying landmarks along the way and answering questions about them in real time.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly it could pull up that info.
But, okay, hold on. You're saying it can also remember things like door codes. Isn't that a little creepy?
Well, think about it less creaky and more like it's an extension of your own memory. We already rely on tons of tools to remember things. Calendars, notes apps, even just writing stuff on a sticky note, right?
Hey, I guess.
Astra is just that, but next level. It's augmenting our abilities, making us more capable in everyday life.
Okay, so maybe not creepy, but definitely a big change.
For sure.
Seems like it could be really useful, but maybe a little overwhelming too.
It's understandable to feel that way, right? Any new technology has a learning curve, and we need that period of adjustment. The key is to approach it with a mix of curiosity and healthy skepticism.
Okay, that's a good point. So Astra is all about personal tasks, but the video also mentioned Project Mariner, which was more focused on the web.
Yeah, Mariner is all about online stuff.
Right, so it can do things like find contact info, add items to online shopping carts, and follow those super complicated multi-step instructions we all hate.
When you're trying to reset a password and it makes you jump through hoops?
Exactly. So Mariner can just handle all that for us.
It's a great example of how Gemini 2.0 isn't just understanding info, it's about taking action. Literally interacting with the online world on your behalf.
Which is kind of a big deal, right? Giving an AI that much control. So the video emphasized that Mariner is transparent, meaning it shows its reasoning as it works.
Yeah, transparency is huge.
Because trusting an AI with that much power over our online actions is, well, it's kind of scary.
It is. The question of trust is central to any AI development, especially when it starts interacting with the real world in meaningful ways. Transparency is essential, but it's just one piece of the puzzle, right? We also need to think about things like data privacy, security, and bias.
And how do we even begin to think about bias in an AI that's this complex?
That's the million-dollar question, and researchers are working on it. It involves really carefully looking at the data the AI is trained on, and then developing ways to, like, detect and mitigate potential biases in its output.
So it's not just about building the AI, it's about making sure it's built right.
Exactly, and that it's used ethically.
It's a lot to wrap your head around, that's for sure.
It is, but that's also what makes it so fascinating, don't you think? We're in uncharted territory with AI.
Totally. We need to be careful, but also excited.
Yeah, it's going to require a lot of thoughtful discussion, collaboration to do this right.
Okay, so we've talked about Astra, we've talked about Mariner, but there's another key element of Gemini 2.0 we need to dive into.
Oh, yeah.
Gemini 2.0 Flash.
Ah, yes. Flash. Now, this is where things get really impressive in terms of speed and capabilities.
So the video claimed Flash is twice as fast as the previous version of Gemini, and it can handle even more complex tasks. We're talking images, video, audio input and output.
It can do it all.
And it can even generate lifelike speech in multiple languages.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, and you can control the style. Chill, dramatic, fast, whispered. It's pretty wild.
Remember how we were talking about multimodal capabilities earlier? Well, Flash is that, like in its purest form.
Okay, I'm with you.
It's not just processing all these different types of input, it's generating outputs in those same formats. And that's what makes it truly interactive and adaptable.
Okay, so what does that actually look like? Can you give me like a real-world example?
Sure. Imagine you're having a conversation with someone who speaks a different language.
It happens all the time.
Right. So Gemini 2.0 Flash could translate the conversation in real time, not just with text, but with audio, matching the tone and style of the speaker's voice.
It's like having a real-time universal translator.
It is like having a personal interpreter, but one who can also convey those nuances of emotion, expression.
Wow. That's straight out of Star Trek.
It is kind of, right?
Yeah.
Definitely pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible with AI. But here's where things get really interesting. The video also showed Flash's abilities in image generation and spatial understanding. And the demos were, well, they were mind-blowing.
You're telling me. They showed how you could manipulate images in real time, like turning a regular car into a convertible with just a text prompt. And even having it, like, fill the car with beach stuff, change the color to something summery.
But it wasn't done with multiple AI models working separately, right? It was all handled by Flash, seamlessly blending text and image generation.
Yeah. And they even showed how you could, like, co-create with the AI by drawing on the image. Like, they drew a circle on the car door handle and prompted the AI to open this.
And it understood.
Yeah, and it generated an image of the car door swinging open.
That level of interactive image manipulation is just groundbreaking. Opens up a whole world of possibilities for designers, artists, anyone working with visual content.
It really does. It makes you wonder what the future holds for fields like design, gaming, education, even accessibility.
Exactly, and that's what we're going to explore further in this deep dive. We're just scratching the surface here, and there's a lot more to uncover. It's amazing, really, how quickly AI is advancing. It seems like just yesterday we were impressed by AI that could write, like, a simple poem. And now we're talking about AI that can, understand and interact with the world in such sophisticated ways.
Yeah, it's moving so fast, it's almost hard to keep up. And it's not just about 2D images either. The video also demonstrated Gemini 2.0's 3D spatial understanding, where it could, like, identify objects in a room and understand their relationships to each other.
That is a huge step forward. Think about the implications for things like robotics. And AI, with that level of 3D spatial awareness, could navigate complex environments, manipulate objects, even assist humans with physical tasks in a way more intuitive way.
It's like giving robots a whole new level of understanding. Instead of just blindly following pre-programmed instructions, they could actually start to perceive and interact with the world, kind of like humans do.
Precisely. And that brings us to another incredible capability of Gemini 2.0, its ability to understand and generate lifelike audio.
Oh yeah, the language stuff was really impressive too. They demonstrated how an AI agent could seamlessly switch between languages, like mid-sentence, all while maintaining a consistent voice and tone.
And not just switching, but actually translating in real time. Imagine you're having a conversation with someone who speaks a different language, and you can understand each other perfectly. No awkward pauses or fumbling for words.
That would be a game changer, seriously. For communication, could really help break down barriers between cultures. Makes you wonder if things like language learning will even be necessary in the future.
That's a fascinating question. It's definitely possible AI could change how we approach language learning. Instead of spending years trying to master a new language, maybe we can rely on AI for that real-time translation. But even then, I think there's something special about being able to connect with someone in their native language, you know?
Yeah, you're right. It's about more than just understanding the words. It's about understanding the culture, the nuances behind them.
Exactly. But getting back to those audio capabilities of Gemini 2.0, what I found really impressive was the level of control you have over the style of the speech.
Right. You could ask the AI to sound like chill or dramatic, fast, or even whisper, and it would adjust its delivery accordingly. That's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is. It's like having a voice actor at your disposal, and they can just instantly adapt to any mood, any style. Think about the applications for audiobooks, podcasts, even personalized voice assistants.
So it seems like they're really thinking about how all these pieces fit together. Image generation, spatial understanding, audio processing, to create like one single unified system.
That's exactly right. It's not just about individual capabilities, it's how those capabilities work together, synergistically, to create something truly transformative.
And speaking of working together, the video also touched on something called native tool use, which sounded, well, super technical, but actually turned out to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, native tool use is a crucial part of Gemini 2.0. It's basically the AI's ability to integrate seamlessly with existing tools and services like Google Search, code execution.
So it's like giving the AI a toolbox and letting it decide which tool is best for the job.
Exactly. They gave a great example in the video where they asked the AI to create a bar graph comparing the run times of different movies. And the AI was able to search Google for the movie links, write the code to generate the graph, and then display the results, all in real time.
It's amazing how seamless it all seemed. And it's not just about pulling info from Google. Gemini 2.0 can also execute code, meaning it could potentially interact with any software or online service that has an API.
Now, to be fair to our listeners who might not be as familiar with, all the tech jargon, an API or application programming interface is basically a set of rules that allow different software programs to talk to each other.
Right, that's a good point. It's easy to get caught up in all the excitement or forget that not everyone is as deep in this stuff as we are.
Right. So what native tool use means is that Gemini 2.0 can potentially access and control this vast ecosystem of software and online services. It just opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
So imagine the potential. You could ask your AI assistant to book a flight, order groceries, control your smart home devices, all with natural language commands. It's like having a personal butler who's also a tech whiz.
And it's not just about those everyday tasks that we can already do ourselves. Gemini 2.0 can also perform actions that are currently beyond human capabilities, like analyzing massive data sets, identifying patterns in complex systems, even generating creative content, like music or art.
They even mentioned this experimental AI agent called Jules that can assist with coding tasks. Imagine a world where AI can help us write software, design websites, even compose symphonies. It's mind-boggling.
It really does challenge our ideas of what's possible, and it brings up some really important questions about the future of work, creativity, the role of humans in a world where AI is becoming, increasingly capable.
Right. If AI can do all these things, what's left for us to do? Are we going to become obsolete? Or will this free us up to focus on more, higher level tasks? Things that require uniquely human skills, like critical thinking, empathy, creativity.
Those are the big questions we need to grapple with as a society. I believe that AI should be seen as a tool, a collaborator, not a replacement for human ingenuity, human creativity.
I agree. But it's going to require some adjustments, right? We need to adapt our education systems, our workforces, maybe even our entire societal structure to accommodate this new reality.
Absolutely. We need to be proactive in shaping the future we want, not just reacting to the changes as they happen. We need to have these open and honest discussions about the implications of AI. Make sure these technologies are developed responsibly and focus on using AI to augment human capabilities, not replace them.
So with all that in mind, let's shift gears a bit and talk about one of the most intriguing aspects of Gemini 2.0 that they showcase in this video. Its application in gaming.
Oh yes, the gaming demos were so fascinating. They really showed Gemini 2.0's ability to learn and adapt in those complex, dynamic environments.
The one that really blew me away was the Squad Busters example. They showed this AI agent playing the game in real time. Using only the video and audio feed, it was able to understand the rules, make decisions, even communicate with the human player, all without any pre-programming.
It was remarkable to watch. The AI wasn't just reacting to pre-programmed stimuli, it was learning and adapting to the gameplay in real time, much like a human player would.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think that the AI could achieve that level of gameplay just by observing and interacting with the game. Makes you wonder what other complex tasks AI could master in the future using this kind of real-time learning approach.
That's the truly exciting part. This type of learning has implications way beyond gaming. If an AI can learn to master a video game just through observation and interaction, think what it could achieve in fields like healthcare, transportation, even scientific research.
It's almost like we're giving AI the ability to learn in the same way that humans do. And that opens up so many possibilities for collaboration, problem solving.
But as with any powerful technology, we also need to think about those potential risks and challenges.
Right. Just because AI can learn to do something doesn't mean it should. We need to be thoughtful about the ethics of it all and ensure we're developing these systems responsibly.
Absolutely. As AI gets more sophisticated, we need to be increasingly vigilant in making sure it's aligned with human values and that it's used for good, not for harm.
It's a lot to consider, but it's a conversation we need to be having now. As this technology is evolving so quickly, it's incredible to think we've only just scratched the surface of what Gemini 2.0 can do.
Yeah.
This video, it covered so much.
It really did. And every new feature, every demo, it just, raised more questions than it answered.
Totally. It feels like we're just getting started.
That's what's so exciting.
And one of the things that really, got me thinking was the potential for Gemini 2.0 to help us tackle some of the world's biggest challenges.
You're talking about the idea that, if we can teach AI to master these complex games just by watching and interacting, maybe we can apply those same principles to real-world problems like climate change, poverty, disease.
Exactly. Obviously those problems are way more complex than any video game, but that underlying principle, right, using AI to analyze tons of data, identify patterns, and test solutions in a kind of simulated environment, it seems like it could have huge potential.
It's a compelling idea, and a lot of researchers are already exploring this. The ability of AI to process information at a scale, at a speed that's just beyond human capability, that could be transformative. Think about fields like medicine. AI could analyze millions of patient records, looking for breakthroughs in treatments or drug discovery.
Or climate science, where AI could help us model those super complex climate systems, develop more effective strategies.
Exactly. The possibilities, they really are vast. But it's important to remember, right, AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
The key is to make sure these powerful technologies are developed and deployed responsibly, with a focus on, human well-being, ethical considerations.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It is.
We can't just blindly embrace AI without thinking about the potential consequences. We need to be thoughtful, deliberate about how we design these systems, what data we use, and how we ensure that they're, aligned with our values.
Absolutely. We're at a kind of pivotal moment in AI. And the choices we make now, well, they're going to have a big impact on the future.
So it's not just up to the tech people to figure this out.
Right. It's a responsibility we all share. Developers, researchers, policymakers, educators, even just everyday citizens.
We need to have those open, honest conversations about the ethical implications of all this.
And we need to work together, collaboratively to create a future where these technologies are used to empower us, not to control us or diminish us.
So to our listeners, we want to leave you with this thought.
What role do you see AI playing in your life, in your community, in the world?
What are your hopes? What are your fears about the future of all this? We really encourage you to keep exploring this, to engage in those thoughtful conversations, and to be active participants in shaping this future.
Because ultimately, the future is not something that just happens to us.
It's something we create.